Hello everybody, long time no see, it's Gia here and I've got another video for you guys today. I know it's been a little while, I do apologise, I've just been so busy and I've just not had any time really to scratch myself and no time to really make videos and upload. So yes, but I'm back and I would like to talk to you today about a topic that I'm finding is becoming more and more common. It's this very entitled belief system a lot of people seem to have, that they deserve everything. They deserve this, that and the other. They deserve to have their cake and eat it too. So I'd like to talk about that concept and just how society is very entitled, very me, I deserve this, I can have this. But the reality is, for most of us, the vast majority, unless you are extremely rich, you can't have both. You need to choose. You need to make a decision and go with it. But what I'm seeing a lot is people want everything, and when they realise that they can't really have everything, they just give up. So let's use the housing market, for instance. I'm 30 and people my age, around my age, younger, a little bit older, we are told we can't really break into the property market because it's too expensive, prices are going up like crazy, the rental market's going insane, to purchase a property, it's so expensive. But what I'm seeing a lot of is people just kind of giving up at this point and going, well, I'm never going to be able to afford to buy a home. I'm never going to be able to have this. It's this very victim mentality of like, the government's against me, my peers are against me, inflation's against me. It's just this whole, I can't do it because of all these external circumstances. When what we really need to be doing is actually looking at the picture, the big picture as a whole, breaking it down into small bite-sized pieces and attacking it from that angle. But what most people see is the big picture and they go, no, I can't do it. I can't do it because it's so overwhelmingly big and I'm so small, I can't do this, so I'm just going to give up now and just complain that everyone's out to get me and I'm never going to be able to afford to buy a house and blah, 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 blah. So at the moment, as some of you who have been following my channel for a while know, I rent this place. In the meantime, what I've been doing is I've been saving my money. I've been cutting costs wherever I can. I've been budgeting like crazy. I've been saving like crazy for years because I don't believe that I'm outpriced from the housing market because of all these decisions and choices that I've made over the years that are going to put me in a good position to be able to put, when the time is right, because I'm in a different circumstance in my life at the moment compared to where I thought I was going to be maybe 5 years ago. About 5 years ago I had a different goal of where I wanted to purchase and buy, but because I'm in a different place in my life now, I'm having to look a bit differently. But just because I have the deposit ready does not mean I'm ready to buy. So I know everyone says you just have to get into the market as quick as possible and da-da-da-da-da, but I think as long as your income and the money you're saving is still going up at a pretty decent rate, I think you're going to be fine. I know there's all these scare tactics about how everyone's going to be outpriced, and of course things are increasing, but if you have your money in a good spot, if you have your money in investments or you have your money in high interest savings accounts, which I know you pay tax on, but you can still make, if you've got a decent sized house deposit, you can still make a pretty good chunk of money, free money, every month or so, or whenever you get paid by your bank. What I'm trying to say is there are all these things that people are saying you can't do because outside circumstances, society says you can't buy a home. And guess, I know Australia in particular is very expensive to live in. I'm not denying that in any way. But this whole mentality of I can't do this, everyone's against me, you know, the world owes me something, this whole entitled attitude of, like, this is just how life works. I have a very practical and just black and white view of a lot of things in life. I just see things for how they are. I kind of go, okay, so this is the current climate, this is what's going on. I need to readjust how I thought I was going to, you know, go about this, and I need to now reevaluate my plan and go about it a different way. Whereas I see a lot of people kind of go, well, no, it's the plan's changed. I can't now, I now can't do this. Which I think is a cop-out. I think it's a massive cop-out. If you want something bad enough, you need to give something else up. So let's say your plan and your dream is to buy a home. But you have this mentality of like, well, I don't earn enough, I don't save enough, therefore I'm never going to be able to buy a home. But then let's look at your lifestyle. What are you spending your money on every single day? Like, where is your money going? Why can't you afford to buy a home? When you start looking at your actual expenses and you start tracking them and you start budgeting, you will see where your money is actually going. So, and you do. There is a lot of times you do need to be in a deficit. You need to give something up to gain something else. Whereas a lot of people kind of go, well, I want this and I want this. Therefore, I should be entitled to both of these things. I don't think people should be in this constant deficit where they're like denying themselves of things all the time. But I do think you need self-control and you need to know where your money is going. Because once you get a handle on your finances and once you get a handle on where your money is going, you are able to track it so much better and you are able to actually save for the big picture things you actually want. Because it's easy to say in the moment, oh, this is just a small purchase, this is just a little treat, I'll just kind of get this here and there. But if you're not tracking where that's going, guess what? You're not going to be able to afford that big picture thing you actually want down the line. So you do need to be not in a state of constant denial, but you need to sacrifice something to get the other thing you want. You can't have both things, particularly when you're in the younger stages of your life and you're still grinding and you're still making money and you're trying to get ahead. Those are the times when the temptation to spend money is at its highest, but it's also the most important time to be putting your money to work and making it work for you. Because as soon as you start that ball rolling, the earlier you start investing, the more money you are going to have down the line. You hear this all the time from older people going, I wish I had invested earlier. I wish. Like, I'm 30 and I started investing this year. But now I'm going, man, I wish I invested at like 18, 20. So there's always this fear of lost time and lost resources that could have been. But at the same time, that is life. And, you are where you are currently. And that's the reality. So you need to look at your life from a position of, this is my current reality. What can I do about it? Rather than constantly living in regret or living in, I should have invested earlier. I should have, got into the housing market earlier. I should have done this. What you need to be doing is you need to be looking at it right now for how it is in your current circumstance and go, how am I going to achieve this in the here and now? You need to be writing your bullet points. You need to be researching. You need to be crunching the numbers. You need to figure out what it is you need to do to achieve what you need to achieve. And that is deficit a lot of the time. When you are trying to get something big, you need to give up the small things that add up. Sometimes you need to give up that holiday. You need to give up that coffee. You need to figure out how to cut your grocery bills. You need to figure out how to cut your energy costs. You need to not buy every new outfit you see. You need to actually prioritize the thing you actually really want and kind of just let the noise fade away, because a lot of these things are distractions. You need to minimize these things. You need to just shrink them down to where they're not as all-consuming and all-important in your mind, because these are little distractions that keep you from the big picture. And you need to not be the victim. That is my number one pet peeve with people. When I see people kind of going, woe is me, I didn't do this soon enough, so therefore everyone needs to comfort me and console me and go, there, it's okay. The world's against you. I hate that shit. I hate it. Because what that then does is it puts you in this state of, oh, I guess everyone is against me. Everything is against me. And I'm in this position, not by choice, but by my circumstances. I'm here because they put me here. I don't like that mentality. I think it's a shocking mentality to have, and it's completely just, it derails you. It's so toxic to have that mentality when you could just be learning more about the thing you want to achieve. You could be researching it, you could be studying it, you could be going out and getting it. Just make a start on something. The thing that you want, just start. Like, stop procrastinating it and actually make a start. Go ahead and make that first step, and you will be surprised how quickly the traction then speeds up. Because rather than just sitting there, just fantasizing about it, thinking about it, going, oh, I really want this, but I'm never going to be able to get this, you've then put in place this action mindset rather than this procrastination mindset. Because you can sit there all you want and you can think about this thing and go, oh, I really want this, but it's never going to happen. Or you can make steps. You can realize you are not the victim. You are in control of your own life. And despite, there's always going to be outside external circumstances that are going to make it feel like you don't have much choice. Inflation is always going to rise. That's what it does. You know, the property market's going to keep increasing. Rental prices are going to keep going up. Groceries are going to keep going up. So what do you need to do to combat that? What do you need to do to stay in the game, to win the game? Like, what do you... Stop thinking of yourself as this little victim and start thinking of yourself as this successor, this person who can achieve what they put their mind to. Like, I was always such a pessimistic person and I had the worst attitude, and I just went, well, I can't do this because, you know, everything's out, you know, everything's stacked against me. I can't do it. But as soon as I shifted my focus and I shifted my mindset, that's when things started happening for me. So for me, I've set savings goals that are very important. I want a specific amount in my emergency fund, so my money's going towards that. I keep putting money in my house deposit account. I keep putting money into my investment accounts. It's these things where I've got a number in my head, and once I hit those numbers, you need to gamify it. You need to make it fun. As soon as it stops being fun and you know, see money as this like necessary evil, this means to an end, I think that's where people lose interest in it and they just kind of just don't want to think about it. But if you can gamify the experience, it becomes a lot more enjoyable. Once I'd hit $5,000, there was something that started to shift in my brain. There was this sense of stability and this sense of security. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I don't feel like if something goes wrong, I feel like I have a buffer. Then I hit $10,000 and I went, oh, well, okay, now I feel even more secure. And the numbers kept going up and up as the years went on. But it got to a point when then I went, once I hit $100,000, I'm going to have this sense of freedom. And that is exactly what happened. It was years of saving money. It was years of going without. It was all these things. But that's the sacrifice you have to make. If you want to hit something, if you want to reach a goal, you need to do that. So the vast majority of that was put into my house deposit account. But I didn't hit $100,000 by playing the victim. I didn't hit $100,000 by spending excessive amounts of money on shit I didn't need. I hit $100,000 because I had the discipline and the foresight to be able to think ahead and go, this is what I actually really want. These little bits and bobs, these little pieces, these little distractions are not actually going to benefit me in the long run, and they're not adding anything really to my life. That being said, I do think it's important to put money towards experiences rather than things. Experiences with people you love that are going to be memorable and meaningful for you. When it comes to money, I think meaning is the most important thing. You need to intentionally spend your money when you are spending it. You can't just frivolously throw it around and just hope you're going to land on your feet. That's not how that works. That's a very immature way of handling money. People who don't track money, people who don't budget, concern me. Back in the beginning, I did not make smart decisions with money. I made shocking decisions. I only started budgeting within the last, I reckon, 5 years. So not all that long ago, I started budgeting. About 25, 26, I reckon. And as soon as I started doing that, the money just started going up because I could see exactly where it was going. If you want something bad enough, you do need to give the little things up. You need to give up the other things that are not adding that intrinsic value and meaning to your life. You need to have that big picture goal. It's important to have your fun money too. Put your fun money in a separate spot, a separate account, and just know that it is there, but don't make it an exorbitant amount. And think about and figure out where you actually want to put the rest of your money. So, I can't remember what the figure was. It's like 50, 30, 20 rule or something like that, where you put like the 50 into like your essentials, the 30 into your fun money, the 20% into your savings. Play around with those numbers. I think you should be putting way more in your savings personally if you want to hit your goal quicker, and I think the fun money should be lower. That is my personal belief. Some people, like, obviously that original 50, 30, 20 exists because that seems to work for a lot of people. But depending on what your goals are, sometimes you need to sacrifice more to get there quicker. So really think about what it is you want, what really is going to give your life meaning, what you truly value, and use money as that resource to reach that thing you actually want. Because that's what it's there for. Just hoarding money for the sake of hoarding money is pointless, because we all die. We don't take it with us. So and you see it with like a lot of the elderly population, they've kind of accumulated all this money and they can't really get rid of it quick enough, depending on, you know, the financial status of those people at that time. Obviously people on the pension, not so much, but for people who have a really nice nest egg and let's say they don't have children, where's that money going to go? So a lot of people are then trying to spend this money as quick as possible because they go, oh, I've just kind of accumulated this wealth over the years, but I've not actually spent it. And I think it's easy to get into that mentality, particularly as we get older, where we're so used to saving money and like trying not to spend it, that when we get to a certain age, it's hard for us to spend it. And that is a concern that I have for myself as well. So I need to then realize when enough is enough, how much is enough, have I hit my main goals and targets in life, and then be able to go, you know what, now I have this freedom to do what I want with the rest of it. That's a completely different topic, but yeah, I just really want to encourage you today to, yeah, figure out what you actually want and to put your money towards what that thing is, and realize you can't have the best of both worlds, particularly in the early stages. It's not possible. Later on down the line, it often, you know, it can be, but when you're first starting out and you're first trying to hit those big financial milestones, you need to give something up to get something. That's just the reality. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.